大家好，欢迎来到大师英文。今天为您带来的故事是电影《蓝色茉莉》，看奥斯卡影后如何演绎纽约名媛跌落谷底的戏剧人生。现在让我们开始吧。
Jeanette was a bright and ambitious young woman. She desperately wanted to erase her ordinary past. So she changed her name to Jasmine, seeking elegance. While in college, she met a man named Hal. Hal was an extremely wealthy and charming businessman. He showered Jasmine with expensive gifts and attention. Jasmine was quickly blinded by his immense wealth. She decided to drop out of college to marry him. They moved into a luxurious penthouse in Manhattan. Their life was a constant stream of lavish parties. Jasmine became a well-known New York socialite. She wore only the finest designer clothes and jewelry. They even bought a gorgeous mansion in the Hamptons. Jasmine loved playing the role of the perfect rich wife. But Hal's wealth came from fraudulent investments. Many people warned Jasmine about his suspicious deals. She chose to completely ignore the obvious red flags. She preferred to look the other way to protect her lifestyle. "I have no head for business," she would often claim. Jasmine had an adopted sister named Ginger. Ginger lived a humble working-class life in San Francisco. One day, Ginger and her husband Audie won the lottery. They won $200,000 and were thrilled.
"We can finally start our own business," Augie cheered.
They decided to visit Jasmine and Hal in New York. Jasmine secretly despised her sister's lack of sophistication. During their visit, Hal learned about their lottery money. Hal proposed a seemingly brilliant investment opportunity. "Trust me, this venture is a sure thing," Hal smiled. Augie was highly hesitant to give away his money. But Jasmine encouraged them to trust her husband. Reluctantly, Augie handed over his entire winnings to Hal. Months passed, and the investment showed no returns. It turned out that Hal was running a massive scam. He had stolen Ginger and Augie's money completely. Augie was devastated when he realized the truth. The immense financial loss destroyed their marriage. Ginger and Augie eventually filed for a bitter divorce. Despite this tragedy, Jasmine stayed with Hal. She continued to enjoy her luxurious, carefree life. But the illusion of her perfect marriage soon shattered. Jasmine discovered that Hal was constantly cheating on her. He had engaged in numerous affairs over the years. One day, Hal made a shocking confession to Jasmine. "I'm leaving you for the teenage French au pair," he said. Jasmine was paralyzed with shock and disbelief. Her entire world was collapsing right in front of her. Driven by blind rage and utter betrayal, she snapped. In a fit of pure madness, she picked up the phone. She dialed the FBI to report Hal's fraudulent business. She exposed all of his illegal activities out of revenge. The authorities quickly raided Hal's office and home. Hal was arrested and handcuffed in public. The government confiscated all of their assets. Jasmine was left completely penniless and disgraced. Unable to face the shame, Hal committed suicide in prison. Jasmine suffered a severe psychological breakdown. She began muttering to herself on the streets of New York. With nowhere else to go, she booked a flight to San Francisco. She reluctantly went to seek help from her sister, Ginger. Ginger kindly welcomed her deeply troubled sister. However, Jasmine was appalled by Ginger's small apartment. "How can you live in this cramped place?" Jasmine sighed. Ginger was currently dating a loud mechanic named Chili. Chili was rough, unrefined, and very protective of Ginger.
I don't trust your crazy sister, Chili warned Ginger.
Jasmine constantly criticized Chili's manners and lifestyle. The tension in the small apartment became unbearable. Jasmine realized she needed to find a job to survive. She had no real skills or college degree to rely on. Eventually, she found work as a receptionist for a dentist. Dr. Flicker, the dentist, was a creepy and inappropriate man. He constantly made Jasmine feel incredibly uncomfortable. One afternoon, he aggressively tried to kiss her. Disgusted and traumatized, Jasmine quit the job immediately. She felt her life was spiraling out of control again.
Jasmine decided she wanted to become an interior designer.
She enrolled in a basic computer class to learn new skills. But she struggled to understand the complicated software. To escape her misery, she attended a high society party. There, she met Dwight, a wealthy and handsome diplomat. Dwight was immediately captivated by Jasmine's elegance. Desperate for a new life, Jasmine began to lie. She fabricated an entirely new past for herself. "My husband was a surgeon who died of a heart attack," she lied. She also falsely claimed that she had no children. In reality, she had a stepson named Danny who hated her. Dwight believed every word of her tragic, fabricated story. They began dating, and Jasmine felt hopeful once more. She saw Dwight as her ultimate ticket back to wealth. Dwight admired her sophisticated taste in art and design. "You would make a perfect wife for a diplomat," Dwight smiled. Jasmine eagerly agreed, hiding her severe anxiety. Meanwhile, Ginger briefly dated a married man named Al. Jasmine encouraged Ginger to pursue this unhealthy romance. She wanted Ginger to break up with a crude Chili. But Ginger eventually realized Al would never leave his wife. Ginger returned to Chili, accepting her simple, flawed life.
Some people just don't have the genes for a happy life. Ginger sighed.
Jasmine's relationship with Dwight was moving very quickly. Dwight decided it was time to buy an engagement ring. They walked happily toward a luxurious jewelry store. Jasmine thought her nightmare was finally over. Suddenly, they ran into Augie on the busy street. It was a disastrous and fateful coincidence. Augie recognized Jasmine and immediately approached them. He was still furious about the money Hal had stolen.
Your husband ruined my life before he killed himself, Augie yelled.
Dwight looked at Jasmine in absolute confusion. Augie also mentioned Jasmine's estranged son, Danny.
Danny dropped out of college and works in Oakland now, Augie revealed.
Jasmine tried desperately to silence Augie, but it was too late. The web of elaborate lies was completely exposed. Dwight realized that Jasmine had deceived him from the start.
You lied to me about everything, Dwight said coldly.
He immediately canceled the engagement and walked away. Jasmine was left standing alone on the sidewalk, devastated. All her hopes for a wealthy future vanished in an instant. In a state of panic, she went to Oakland to find Danny. Danny was working in a small rundown instrument store. He looked at his mother with deep resentment and anger.
You are the reason my father is dead, Danny told her.
He blamed her for turning Hal over to the FBI. Danny firmly stated he wanted nothing to do with her. Rejected by her only family, Jasmine's mind shattered. She returned to Ginger's apartment, looking pale and ghostly. Ginger and Chili were celebrating their reconciliation. Jasmine couldn't bear to see them happy together. So she crafted one final, desperate lie. Dwight and I are getting married. I'm moving out, she announced. Ginger was surprised, but secretly relieved to see her go. Jasmine packed her few remaining belongings into a suitcase. She walked out of the apartment without looking back. She wandered aimlessly through the streets of San Francisco. Her designer clothes were rumpled. Her hair was a mess. She finally sat down heavily on a solitary park bench. The reality of her destitute situation crashed down on her. She had absolutely no money, no home, and no family. Her mind retreated into the safety of her past memories. She began to talk loudly to herself, oblivious to everyone. She recounted the romantic lyrics of the song Blue Moon. It was a song that was playing when she first met Hal. Passers-by stared at the strange, mumbling woman on the bench. I remember the music. It was so beautiful, she whispered. She was completely trapped in her own tragic delusions. The elegant socialite was now just a broken, lonely figure. Her refusal to face reality had ultimately destroyed her life. She had built her entire existence on a foundation of lies. When the truth emerged, there was nothing left to hold on to. Jasmine wiped a tear from her cheek, still muttering softly. Her tragic fall from grace was finally complete. She was destined to live in the shadows of her past glory. A stark reminder that ignoring the truth always has a price. The screen fades to black as she continues to talk to no one. This concludes the heartbreaking story of Blue Jasmine. We hope this narrative has inspired deep reflection. Thanks for joining us on Master English. See you next time.
听故事学英文是英文进步最好的方式。大师英文，谢谢您的收看。